Hello, hello, and welcome once again. J76NY here, and welcome to the first episode of a first look mini-series I'm going to be doing on a game called Burden of Command. This has been on my Steam wish list, and I've been watching it for quite some time. I'm really excited for it to be released. This is the demo, so it's not the full version of the game. I will link to their Steam page in the video description down below. You should definitely go check them out. Game is developed by Green Tree Games and published by Green Tree Games. It has a Q1 2025 release date. Luke, the lead developer of the game, has been kind enough to show his support on Twitter and here on Facebook. And I did try last year sometime with the demo, but I couldn't get it to work. It was probably something I was doing wrong, but they seem to have, whatever issues I've had, they seem to have resolved it. So we're going to be taking a first look at this game here. Game's gotten high praise across the board. Forbes, one of my favorite World War II historians, John McManus, has nothing but good things to say about the game. So that in and of itself says quite a bit. The game, well, the demo has several scenarios that you can play through. There is a tutorial, and honestly, it's hands down one of the best made tutorials I've ever seen for a game. I was going to just play through that and then maybe showcase some of the non-tutorial gameplay, I guess, which I haven't actually made it to yet. But I thought that with how good the tutorial is, it deserves to be highlighted too. So Luke did a great job. You're going to meet him in a second as we get into the actual gameplay. Not sure how many videos I'm going to get out of this one, but we will play it out to its entirety, at least the demo. This game is definitely going to be coming to the channel when it is released into a full release. So if you want to see a Burden of Command series and you're not subscribed, you should definitely do that. Really, really looking forward to this game coming out, and that's about all I can say about that. So let's get into Burden of Command.
Hello, this is Luke Hughes, lead designer for Burden of Command, and I'm breaking through the fourth wall today, ouch, to thank you. Thank you for taking a risk on something new, a leadership RPG. Now I imagine you're here hoping to test your mettle as a leader, emotionally, morally, tactically, in World War II. For us to give you that experience, it means a risk for you. What's the risk? Well, a new approach obviously requires a learning curve, and we all know learning curves can produce confusion, hell, even frustration, and playtesting has shown that there is a learning curve for Burden. Two kinds. The easier part, where you learn new mechanics, not tried before, and then the much harder ones, where we break some of your likely pretty ingrained assumptions about how, for example, repeated shooting will kill an enemy unit. We instead do something called the 4Fs, which we'll get into later. The point is, I'm going to be breaking in occasionally here to help you with video demonstrations, along with some design explanations about why we break these conventions. But remember, it's all to give you a credible leadership role-playing experience. And hey, we know these fourth wall break-ins may be jarring at times, but extensive playtesting has shown these videos can really help your journey. So please, keep an open mind, and hey, Cotton Baler, good luck out there.
The First Mile, September 24th, 1942, Camp Pickett, Virginia. Morning dew dribbles down the bright leaves of the forest. Ahead, Platoon Sergeant Bennett leads the way beneath the canopy. That should be the hill. He notes and gestures towards the rise in the east. Bit of a walk, but we're close. On his back is slung the standard issue American M1 rifle, near twin-tier own. The thing that has gotten the most praise about this game is the fact that you are a platoon commander leading actual characters that um, it's going to offer a kind of personal appeal to the game, whereas most games you're just units and you basically could send a meat wave in, and if they die, they die. If they don't, they don't. Whatever, as long as you break through. This one, you're going to have to make some tough choices, and those choices will have an impact on the characters that you are leading, and they could cost them their life, which is something that not a lot of games do. Connecting the player to the individual characters of the game. So let's see. I should take another compass bearing. Sounds like he knows where he's going. It does sound like he knows where he's going, so we'll go with that. There's no reason to second guess him. If a man can't admit he's wrong when he's definitely wrong, then he's not much of a leader. Sergeant Bennett has been in the Army since before the big draft of 40. He knows his way around. And this is creating your character. I've been in the Army for a while, too. I'm a recently commissioned lieutenant, and I'm a reservist returning to the Army. I am a recently commissioned lieutenant. We'll go with that one. The ink is hardly dry on your commission, at least by regular Army standards, but 90 days of intensive training have made you feel like you could take on the world. Which is good, since the Germans and Japanese seem to be busy trying to conquer everything. The U.S. has yet to send many divisions overseas, but really it's only a matter of time.
So here I am in boot camp somewhere in Virginia, 1942, just like you will be soon. I'm going to start with our first concept that will be familiar and unfamiliar, your first learning curve aspect. So, like games like XCOM and frankly many tactical games these days, we use action points. We call them orders, and they have the green dots. So this leader has 4 action points. And no surprise, when he say moves, he spends an action point, which you can see happening there.
U.S. Army will go to war in earnest soon. As an officer, your duty will be to lead the men of your platoon. You just have to find them first. Mouse over the book icons for history or image notes. I know I've seen the book icons before. All right. Left click to select the leader. Right click to move the leader. WAS and D keys will move the camera. You can scroll to the side, zoom in and out. But for now, we have to move our leader. And we have to move him up here. So there we go. Left click. Oh. Leader just expended an order point. That's the dots on the other side here. This indicates this image has an X. Okay. Closer now. Hills and mountains are always further than they seem. The gray circle that you saw float up and indicated the expenditure of an order. Burden of command runs on orders. Every unit has some, and you can't do anything but get shot at without one. Orders are spent to move a unit. You can usually move a unit multiple times. Okay. We left click on the leader and right click him to move him up here. And he spends a movement point. It's a good view, good enough to see a few stragglers from your first platoon. Looks like the kitchen patrol is still on their way to the obstacle course, Sergeant Bennett notes. And if we let them dog things, they'll never get there before dinner. White highlighted hexes indicate where you can move. Light colored hexes indicate what you can see. So you can see, but you can't move. Here you can move. Let's see. Wave them forward. All right, so this is what I noticed in the other thing. I'll order them to move up, it says no change in verbosity. Verbosity is one of 3 character traits. It reflects how much a leader likes to talk. Verbosity does not impact the tactical battlefield, but may add personalization to conversations. In this one, we get +1 to verbosity. Wave them forward, we get -1 verbosity. Let's yell down to them.
This is a leadership RPG. We're always going to be focused on bringing out leadership aspects. In the Army, leaders are in charge of platoons, which is a group of squads or companies. And so there's a command structure, and we do that too. This is a squad here, part of my rifle platoon. For it to do something, I've got to order it. Or, if you want to make it simpler, activate it. So, did you see an order came up on me? Not just a squad. The squad paid its action point, but I'm just going to say order from now on. But I paid an order because effectively I ordered the squad.
You yell down in a commanding tone. Conditioned by training, they obey. Squad must be activated to utilize their own orders. A leader will spend an order to activate a squad when that squad initially shoots, moves, etc. Once the squad has been activated, they have enough direction that they can then expend 2 or even 3 orders without requiring a further leader order for the rest of the round. Okay, move the squad here. Left click on the squad, right click to move the squad. Units can move independently of leaders. Though this is not always preferable, it is often necessary since the leaders can't be everywhere. Right, so my leader is up here, Lieutenant Unnamed, that's me. And now we can move our squad up to this spot. And I spent an activation or a movement point for an order to activate the squad as well. When a squad first activates in a round, the leader must expend an order. Yep. All for double time, Lieutenant. Sergeant Bennett asks.
This squad has been activated. The leader no longer needs to pay an order to activate it. So let's move it, and you'll see no action from the leader. He didn't spend another order.
Order the squad to move again. This time, it won't cost the leader an order because the squad's already activated. Right, so we select the squad and then we move them up to the leader. It only costs the squad an action.
So I'm going to come down there, join my squad, lead, grab them both, and go somewhere. Now this time, they'll both pay an order. But be careful, it's not an activation order. They're both moving. You don't get a free ride. You got to pay for the move too. So, there you go. We're similar to games you're used to. Action points. But in this case, they're really orders, and they involve things like squad activation.
Here they are, Sergeant Bennett notes, as Sergeant Layton and his kitchen patrol reach the summit. Layton, can you see the objective course from here? Breathless, Sergeant Layton nods in the affirmative. His fellow spud peelers are all but ready to drop. Clearly, they can't go very far with us. They're not part of the coming exercise. If only they were in better shape. Alright, we'll go with that one. This leader has expended 3 of its orders. Only 1 order remains green and is therefore available. From this height, you can also see a little stream whose serpentine channel marks the bounds of your own training area. The stream isn't far, which is a good thing. The stream, like other terrain, costs more movement points to cross than flat, open land. Sorry. You won't always be able to get somewhere in a single order, especially with a squad in tow. One last push should put your boots beside the stream. Spent, perhaps, but in position nonetheless. However, first you will have to detach from Layton's squad. The first left click of a hex selects both units in it. Second left click, either a leader portrait or a squad below will select only that unit. Alright. Don't follow Luke's example in the video and instead rebel and left click the leader portrait repeatedly until only the leader is highlighted. You will see the selected portrait or unit by encircled by a pulsing ring. When you move the leader out, they will separate from the squad. So let's grab the leader. Try it this way. Nope. Left click the leader portrait. There we go. Alright. and then right-click over here. Just Lieutenant on name. There he goes. And there goes order.
Honestly, it would have been simplest to design the game as 1 unit per hex, like many games do. But frankly, it just felt wrong not to have leaders in with their men leading them. So we committed to simple stacking. 1 leader, 1 squad per hex. So then how do you manage selection? It's simple. Click any unit in a hex, both select, because you probably want to move both of them normally. But maybe you just want to move the leader this time. Click again. And here I am. So I'll do the same thing again. I'll click the squad, and I go back and forth between just the squad and both.
Down by the stream. Let's take a breather, Sergeant Bennett suggests, but we're almost there. At this point, your leader should be out of orders. 3 to move your leader, 1 to activate the KP squad. KP squad itself moved twice the normal amount for a green rifle squad. Orders refresh at the start of a new game turn. Alright? Out of orders mean we can't do anything. What if I didn't move the squad? Veteran squads have more orders. We'll go through these. Then you would have 1 more order to move your leader. Simple trade-off. Everything is important in burden of command, cost, and order. Want to move a leader? In order. Want to move a squad? In order. Activation? In order. Shooting or assaulting? In order. Since there are currently no enemy units around, just pass the round until a new game turn begins. Okay? Which is this. And the round until a new turn begins. The forest thins. At last you spy a hint of civilization, a little wooden bridge that crosses a gully and low wooden wall beyond it. Clearing should be just up ahead, Lieutenant. Bennett calls back to you. A movement order can span a single hex or 4, but the order costs remain the same. Alright, so I gotta move my leader here. The assembly point is a simple one marked by a low retaining wall striped in white. At the sight of it, Sergeant Bennett flashes you a grin and stashes the map. There's a figure waiting in the lee of the wall. A fellow officer with silver bars of a captain upon his collar and a dreaded clipboard in his hand. You're nearly late, Lieutenant, the field umpire notes as he regards you. The pencil in his grasp has doomed plenty of officers to obscurity with a swift judgment. That field umpire with dreaded clipboard. Okay. Salute. I'll salute him. Sergeant Bennett gives a firm warning cough, but it comes too late. The field umpire shakes his head slightly. When out in the field, such gestures are apt to attract snipers. Let's see. So now, this choice will give me +1 to sarcasm, which is sarcasm notes how sharp-tongued a character is. Sarcasm does not have any impact on a tactical scenario. Being sarcastic may provide personalization during the interactive fiction. This is no change. And this is -1. I'll just be quiet for now. Today you will undertake a leadership exercise consisting of no less than 3 separate field problems. The field umpire says, you and your men will be assessed based on outcomes, including both objectives achieved and casualties sustained. You will take command of your rifle squad, and we will proceed. Any questions? Is this a live fire exercise? Where's my rifle squad? What's the mission for this field problem? Or nothing. I wonder what the mission is. We'll get to that shortly, the field umpire says. They like their surprises, Sergeant Bennett remarks softly to you. Is this live fire? Nope. There may be an occasional live round fired safely for effect, but otherwise no unit is in possession of live rounds. Budget constraints. So where's my squad? Over there. They should not be hard to find. Where's the rest of my platoon? Your Sergeant Grant is bringing them forward after they complete the obstacle course, the field umpire says. For now, you will command a single squad of your platoon. Sergeant Grant isn't a fella to be late, I'm sure of it, Sergeant Bennett says to you quietly. There's every reason to be hopeful. Bennett is the platoon sergeant, and Grant, what the Army currently calls a platoon guide, has his confidence. Right? We just need to find the squad, Sergeant Bennett says. Doubt we'll need more than a few waypoints on the map to figure out where they're at. Squad is not far away. This path may use the fewest movement points, but it doesn't utilize terrain. So you can set waypoints for your guys. Control right click to establish waypoints and stick to covering terrain when possible. Okay? That in mind, you lead the way. Finish the exercise before turn 4. Don't get anyone killed. Okay. Alright, select your leader and move to the squad. Left click. Oh, hang on. Left click to select all units in the hex. 2 right click. Move. Control right click hex to set waypoints. I could set the waypoints here, so let's try that here. There. Here's your waypoint. Whoops. That again. Waypoints. And away he goes, following the waypoint. Well done, Lieutenant, the umpire notes. You avoided a sniper call. Most officers have proven blind to that. Our squad looks beat, Sergeant Bennett said. It's true. By all appearances, they can't possibly take another step. Some might say their morale is low. Right now, it's dog dick low. That's pretty low. I have pugs, and their dicks are pretty low. Probably didn't need to know that, but we'll just keep going on like I didn't say it. Alrighty. What would you suggest, Sergeant? This affects directiveness. Directness is one of 3 character traits. It reflects the approach of a leader to problems, subtle or otherwise. Directness does not impact the tactical battlefield, but may add personalization. This gives me more verbosity if I give them a speech. This increases my directness. Consider kicking them into shape. I'm going to go with the verbosity, since I'm already headed in that direction. Okay, Steam achievement. Awesome. In the demo. You could, Lieutenant, Sergeant Bennett says, it might even work if you lead them forward afterward. Either way, I'll kick a little ass on the slackers. Morale is central. Good morale right here is indicated by the green. Yellow is shaken morale, and down there at the bottom, red is cowering. When you have good morale, you have floors, movement normal, and you'll pass most morale checks. Luke will get to that in a second, so I'm going to click on here and
Thank you,
let him handle it.
Sergeant Bennett is reminding me I need to teach you about the backbone of your company's performance. It's morale. So here we have a good order squad. It's green, no suppression, has 2 orders, moves about 3 hexes. If it tries to move under fire, pass the morale check to do that, about 70%. And if it fires at an enemy, 50-50. Now notice those initiative wheels, donuts I like to call them. You really want to win initiative, because if you win initiative, you fire first, you suppress the enemy, reduce their morale, and then their fire back will be weak. Now let's look by contrast at this shaken company. It's yellow, it's lost about half its morale to suppression. First thing to notice, subtly, is it only moves 2 squares forward. It can still retreat because they're more cautious because they're shaken. Also, Let's notice one more thing. Only one order. So the morale's actually reduced the total quantity of actions you can give this squad. Pretty bad. And guess, if you fire them, not going to go so well. You're going to lose. And the morale check's unlikely. Finally, let's look at these poor guys. About 9 points of suppression. They're red. They're basically cowering. They won't even move forward. Though you can still move them back to get rallied, maybe behind a hill or in some cover. I wouldn't bother trying to fire. Not going to work. And you can give up on assault. Now, friend, let's have a little fun here. This is a 3-star unit. Very experienced. What do you notice? It's got 3 orders, not 2. That's a big win. And guess how it's going to do in firefights? Very well. And guess how it's going to do on morale checks? Hey, it doesn't even have to pass a morale check to move under fire. Work hard, Captain. Maybe you'll have units like this eventually. Lead them well.
Rally will remove suppression. It will also spend all of the squad, not the leader's remaining orders. Time to rally. To rally a unit must not have expended any orders during the turn. It must be fresh. Fresh squad, no suppression with 2. Squad has expended an order. It's no longer fresh. Squad has merely lost an order to suppression. It is still fresh. Squad has expended all its orders. The fresh status is only determined by whether or not the squad has expended an order yet. Orders lost to suppression don't count. Okay. Orders expended for any other reason do. Your men want guidance and leadership. That's why you're here with them. Most leaders must be grouped up with a squad to utilize certain orders. A captain would be an exception to that, but do not worry about this right now because I'm just a peon lieutenant. Alright, select the leader, then rally the leader and squad. This consumes 1 leader order to activate the squad, and all squad orders rally. Right. Select the leader. We already have. Rallying a squad. So how do you rally? Right there, with the arrow. Big arrow. Right, so I'm going to rally my guys. Left click selects in order. Right click squad to right click. Guess I can edit it though. There we go. Now we're rallying. Rallies requires a fresh squad. A speech did the trick, Sergeant Bennett says. Once we're organized, we can get on with the exercise. The field umpire makes a little note on his clipboard. The men will be ready, but the question is, ready for what? The squad is out of orders. I have rallied. When can I move? Should I move the squad first? Trouble with that is moving any number of hexes takes orders, and if the unit is spent or if it has expended any orders and it's not fresh and may not rally. You would have to wait until the next turn for its orders to refresh so that it can rally. But yes, sometimes you will want to move a unit away from enemies before you rally so the unit won't get shot up afterward. If the enemy doesn't interrupt, the men will be ready to move shortly. You indicated as much the umpire. He holds up a white flag for his opposite number to see if across the field. The wave of blue flags is exchanged. The exercise will shortly resume. So long as neither side has a leader with an order, turn won't end, unless both sides pass their round without spending any orders. Order expended. Any solid square, morale point, empty gray squares suppression. Okay. Red cross squares stressed.
Anyone got a light?
Okay. End the round repeatedly until a new turn begins. I have 3 turns left. All right. You're ready. The men are ready. The enemy is like The enemy had a round to activate units, but did nothing with it. Interesting, the enemy did not respond. Maybe we have surprise on our side. Wait for the umpire to give a go-ahead. Maybe we have surprise on our side. Wonder what the clipboard wants to happen next, Bennett asked quietly. As if on cue, the field umpire clears his throat. All right, Lieutenant, the enemy squad is in that house down there. Says and ignores Bennett as he points. You can hear the clockwork tick of his watch, faint but steady. Deploy your men and take them under fire. And remember, this exercise is timed. Squad versus squad, even numbers? Indeed. That should concern you, field umpire remarks. We do not want to refight the last war. This is World War I. All right, bolstering and movement in the trees. A dozen men and more in olive drab working their way closer. These are your men, sweaty and dusted from the obstacle course, and at the back is Sergeant Grant urgently urging the stragglers along. They look tired. Maybe we should wait. No rest for the wicked. Not in this army. Yep. I get you, Lieutenant, Sergeant Bennett says. We're out here to train so we can fight. When we're facing off against the Germans, we'll have to fight like we trained. The men may not like it, and they'll sure as hell gripe about it, but Grant over there will get them in gear. Trained him myself. The platoon is together again, if not precisely formed up in the best position. While you ponder that fact, the umpire's watch continues to tick. Let's bolster their spirits, Sergeant Bennett says. It always boosts morale, though it doesn't last for long, but maybe it will be just long enough for what comes next. Bolster. Okay.
Remember Sergeant Bennett's wise comment that morale is the backbone of your company's performance? Well, what do you think the role of leadership is then? Of course, it's to manage that morale. Let's look at your tools. One of them is bolster. So here we have a good order unit. And if we were to attack, it'd be 50-50 on the attack. It moves 3 squares. It has 70% morale check. But let's bolster it. A lot more movement. Hey, it's going to pass that morale check. And look at the firefight. Bolster enhances an already good unit so it is significantly more effective, especially for firefights. The experience and the trust of the leader comes to bear. Don't make the mistake, however, of thinking of bolster as sort of a poor man's rally, rally for one action. I've moved the leader down to this shaken squad, half morale, and I'm thinking, well, it's pretty poor for a firefight right now. Maybe I'll bolster it and it'll be fine. Well, there's some improvement. If you studied this, you'd see the suppress predictions are a little bit better, but you're still going to lose initiative. It's not a rally. If you want a unit with shaken or below morale to improve, rally. Rally, by contrast, fully restores morale for the long term. Of course, it does take a turn to do, so you'll have to pick the time and place for when you rally, for when you bolster, or for when you orchestrate your platoon and company to be effective all at once, rather than dribble in an attack on the enemy.
Bolster order will provide a boost to the morale of a unit until that unit moves, shoots, or does anything else that has the unit expend an order. Unlike rally, this does not remove suppression, but a bolster can boost a unit's maximum morale beyond its maximum. Bolster greatly increases initiative in a firefight and the chance to initiate an assault. Okay. Bolster the leader and the squad. Okay, so this is bolster button. That's rally. This is press, which we haven't learned about yet. And this is creep. What's this? Or disabled. Squad. You can give an assault order. Recon by fire. Hold fire. Change facing. Creep. We're going to bolster. Left click, flex, right click, squad doing that. Go. We bolstered them. Ready, Sergeant Bennett says. Where to, LT? Should have Grant march down. Go ahead. Should we have Grant march down? Or one of 2 orders remaining. There's a lot of things you might want to order, but there is never enough time for the men to carry them out. Nonetheless, you prepared to do what you can. Okay, move this bolstered leader and the squad. The squad with waypoints. Detach the leader, then move to and rally the squad. I am going to detach the leader. Him here. Sergeant Grant stands in salute as you approach. Not during a field problem. Of course, Lieutenant, Sergeant Grant says and swiftly lowers his hand before an umpire decides that the motion warrants a sniper check. First squad and third squad have cleared the assigned obstacle course and are ready for more. From the groans that rise up behind him, the men definitely disagree. Them on their feet. Those with clipboards will demand as much. Option for him to proceed. Let's get them on their feet. Yes, Lieutenant, Grant replies, and then turns to do just that. But you know there's only so much a sergeant can do. The rest will fall on you. Good man, Sergeant Bennett says, as the squad stops loafing. I'll expect he'll have my job someday. Let's go rally. All squads are led by sergeants, or if there are casualties, corporals. They are the ones that receive your orders and act upon them. They do not appear separately on the map. Down the way, you spy movement in the house. The objective has not changed. All right, so I would like to rally squad. Go.
Time to step up, ladies!
Now we only have 1 order point left. So I'm going to move you down here. All right, I don't have any movement points left. This is the objective here. I guess I can... Can't go with a squad. Group not selected. Squad. Oh, it is selected. All right. Let's... I guess we can't. Leader around. There we go. We'll give that a shot and see what. 2 turns left. We're over the time limit, Sergeant Bennett says. We should prepare to open fire. Okay. Let's select squad. Them down here. Uh-oh. There they are, Sergeant Bennett says, as your men pass the word that they've sighted movement in the house, but those damn walls give them better cover than we've got. Nearby, the umpire with the clipboard makes a note. A lengthy one. Give the men some direction, and the umps will take note, Sergeant Bennett says, as your men prepare to place the revealed enemy under their crosshairs. Every little bit helps us to build up our fire against the enemy before they do the same to us. Left click to select the unit you want to have open fire, then right click on the enemy. We do have initiative. All right, let's right click. I know the umpire was pushing us forward, but our squad just opened fire without a plan. Sergeant Bennett says, I'll bet we could get as good as the Jerry's if we had time to. Unsupervised and poorly invigorated fire likely result in little suppression. Field umpire remarks and writes something sharply in the margin of his clipboard. Whistles blow. The exercise halts as the umpire gets to work figuring out the damage to the enemy. Sergeant Bennett waits quietly beside you. Halt the exercise, the field umpire barks formally and then signs the bottom of the page with a flourish. Lieutenant, you went over the first squad and formed them up properly prior to attack. However, you failed to do the same for third squad. This would have resulted in a number of your men being killed and time wasted until you could regroup for a full assault against the well-prepared enemy. I think I just bombed the tutorial. I should have contacted... I thought we should attack with what we had. I should have contacted third squad. I guess we'll go with that. They would have tripled your firepower or given you a maneuver element against the enemy. This would have lowered your casualties and allowed you to complete the mission. Field umpire remarked. We will reset this exercise and try again shortly. With that, you return to your platoon. What were my marks for today? The day's not over, but if you must know, this failed problem will be marked as incomplete. That received the same score as a draw will not be detrimental to your standings. Fair and equitable increases your prestige. It's your influence with superior officers. We'll go with that. Sergeant Bennett falls in as you head back to your platoon. No matter what you choose, that ump was going to find fault, Sergeant Bennett says. Like being married, but without the fun parts. Hell, I bet getting something wrong was the point of the lesson. Rallying a squad was a good idea because if we're in for a penny, then we're in for a pound. Despite what the umps might say, the enemy couldn't be any more prepared after a 5-minute wait because the bullets haven't started flying. There was no good answer. I thought I'd done everything right. Odd. Sounds true. He's probably had to teach this lesson over and over. That'd wear on anybody. What exactly is it I'm supposed to learn? How to lead. Not just when things are going well either, and maybe that's why there was no good answer. Kobayashi Maru. All right, click to access our Bokopedia page for tactics, hints, and help. All right. A lot to take in. You will have to keep your eyes and ears open. All right, so we had a draw in this first mission here. Loyalty earned 7, prestige earned 7. Okay. Thought I had one more turn. No one out of action, sir. Continue with story. Game saved. Exit before story continues. I think I'm going to continue with the story, but we're going to cut the first episode here. There is definitely a learning curve. I like the mechanics, the rally and bolster of the game. Growing pains are always a thing when you play games like this, but luckily we have Luke and his awesome tutorial to lead us through this. So anyway, that is going to do it for the first episode of our miniseries. If you liked it, hit the like button. That will help out getting the game and video exposure with the YouTube algorithm. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Kind of curious what you guys think about that. Luke, if you're watching, feel free to chime in with any thoughts or advice you might have. I'm liking this so far, so we are going to continue it in the next one. J76NY saying thank you very much for watching and have yourself a very good day.